I now call upon Mr. V. Gopinathan, President Iitm Madras Alumni Association, to say a few words. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Mohan Narayanan, the Treasurer, will be presenting them.
Good morning to all of you. See, being the treasurer of any association of a body or a body is like being the 12th man in a cricket team. You get called whenever the key players are not available. So, I'm here on behalf of the president of MA and MA in general. President Gopi is out of town, he's traveling. Secretary Madhusudan also is traveling. So Professor Nagarajan called me up and I grabbed the opportunity to come and stand before you and give you a few perspectives on what the association stands for and what is the right, I would say, that you have as the existing alumni and the new alumni that became alumni yesterday to contribute to the association and give back and take back over various years going forward. So we had a canned presentation, but I consciously decided not to do that. I'll make sure that it is uploaded into the site so that you have access to the presentation, which covers a lot of data points in terms of what we have done over the years and what we plan to do in the future. But what I would do in the next 5 or 10 minutes is to just give you a conceptual view on what the association stands for and hopefully leave with you a few set of points for you to go back and work at the back of your mind and see how you can participate in many of the activities that we do and make it bigger, stronger and more viable in the future. So what do we stand for? And if I look at from a very holistic perspective, there are three buttons that we constantly, three hot buttons which I call that we constantly press and at every opportunity. So one key button is of course alumni, the second key button are students, and the third key button is society in general. So what do we do for alumni? So Alumni Association is a network of alumni, and I think all of you know that. And we need to keep interacting with the alumni to make sure that the bonding becomes stronger, and we help each other in the process. So what have we done over the last few years? When the latest office bearers that we took role 2 years back, one of the key initiatives that we launched is creating different chapters and making them more energetic across different states in India and also abroad. So the Alumni Association Chennai chapter has always been strong, obviously because of the close connection to the institute. What we did vitalize over the last 2 years has been the Bombay and the Bangalore chapters, which have become very strong and they have become self-supporting, and we do a lot of activities with them. So any of the alumni who are now based in Bombay, Bangalore, please reach out to those associations and those chapters to make sure that you are able to contribute and take part in many of the activities that we do. The Hyderabad Association is something that we are in the process of revitalizing, and also Delhi and Calcutta is also something that we look forward to a lot of active participation. As far as Calcutta is concerned, specifically that is something we have been trying over the last 1 year. So any of you who are based in Calcutta, please reach out to us, and we want to make sure that we connect you to those guys there to get involved. The other thing that we have done as a part of the alumni networking is also to make sure that we are able to provide a platform for alumni to actually contribute to the society in general. Now, most of the alumni, fortunately, especially the IIT alumni, we all been well off, we have done well in our lives, and I think we should spend quite a bit of time trying to give back to the society in some way over the years. So many of the alumni have been involved in creating a lot of socially relevant projects and the Alumni Association is very happy and proud to support these activities, either monetarily or in terms of non-monetary contributions. So we have created a video which is available, which is called Alumni Cares, which I would urge you to take a look at it and try and see how you can contribute to any of the welfare activities that is being projected there, or even come back with some idea in terms of how you can contribute or create a new socially relevant project that can be supported by the association in some way, tangible or intangible. And in the process, what we have also done is, as a new initiative, we have created a medical insurance policy for all the alumni, interested alumni, and it is across, in fact, it is pan-IIT and across India. Because one of the recognition that came is, many of the IIT alumni are actually entrepreneurs and are not necessarily part of large corporates which have their own health insurance schemes. So what we have done is we have tied up with an insurance company to make sure that we are able to get a group insurance scheme launched for the benefit of alumni and their family. So it is a fantastic coverage. There is no medical checkup that is required. Coverage is 5 lakhs and above on a floating basis, and it covers even parents, elderly people up to the age of 80. So those of you who are not members, please reach out to our office, and we'll make sure that you are enrolled as a part of the policy. So that is as far as alumni interaction is concerned. We have an association. The association is run by an executive council. The executive council meets every month in the alumni office, where all these projects are discussed and action plans are come up with. Now, as far as students are concerned, that is the other hot button that we constantly press. There are 2 or 3 key initiatives that we took last year. One is, the group mentoring scheme that was launched, in fact, 2 years back. So we actually had a technology platform that was supplied by one of our friends, and we used that platform to actually do a connect between the students and the alumni, and created a database of a set of mentors and a set of potential mentees, and the product actually provided a platform to do a connect between the two and use that to encourage mentoring relationship between the 2 of them. So we had a reasonably good response. There are still a lot of work to be done on it, especially to make sure that we continue the connectivity and create more and more analytics out of it to use it as a learning, and then use it to further improve the mentoring platform. But what has been a tremendous success is the group mentoring sessions that we did, where we were able to invite alumni across different horizontals and verticals and have them address students of those respective fields with respect to areas like higher studies or employment or research or whatever. So that is something that has been a huge success. The other initiative that we have taken is the mock interview program. Now, one concern, and that has been true across the industry in India, and to a large extent we are also part of it in terms of the institute. While the students are academically brilliant, there definitely has been perceived gaps between what they bring to the table in terms of understanding the customer's business to what actually the customers need, and that has been conveyed to us in many platforms, and we ourselves as employers have seen that in students both in IITs and outside. So we have used the feedback from these experiences to launch a mock interview, mock group discussion, and mock panel discussion kind of thing for all the students who are set to appear for campus interviews. And that sessions have been pretty useful. In fact, we had great registration from typically everybody in the final year batch to be part of that. So we will again do a session this year, sometime in the month of October, November, before the campus season starts. And we would urge any of you who are around to actually come to us, and we will make sure that we enroll you as a part of the panel. The third initiative as far as students are concerned, and this is something that me personally and Madhu, along with Professor Nagarajan, will be driving, is to encourage the PG alumni to actually come back and create a connect. In fact, one of the interesting data points which comes frequently is actually 60% of the institute is actually PGs, which will be MTech, MS, PhDs, and that number is growing. So we want to make sure that we create a program that will connect these PGs back to the students and back to the institute, and use that to further the relationship, and in some ways also create a giving back platform for all of them. So we did a PG connect. So as a part of that, what we have done is we have got speakers who are PGs to come back and address students of those specific departments. We also have technology sessions that we do, because most of the PGs will be technology oriented. So in collaboration with Iitm, Computer Society of India, we have actually launched a few programs where we encourage students to participate. So we will do more of these going forward. So in a nutshell, the opportunities are enormous. As I said, we can contribute a lot to the students. Just keep in mind, students today are tomorrow's alumni. So if you do a good work towards students, they are the ones who will come back and do good work for the society going forward. So we are able to do quite a bit of work with students. We are able to do quite a bit of work with alumni and encourage alumni networking. And in many cases, we are able to do good work with the society in general, in terms of giving back. And in many sense, it is this giving back. Just keep in mind that over the years, as you achieve a lot of things in your corporate career and as an entrepreneur, at some point in time, you will need to start giving back. In some way, it is also being selfish, I would say, because many times your life is about the future and not about the past. And many of us would want to be continuously engaged socially. And one of the best platforms for you to be engaged socially is to be engaged with your alma mater. Because there you have the past, you have the present and the future. So it gives you a whole plethora of society to actually interact and contribute. So who are the office bearers? As I said, Gopi, Madhu and me are the office bearers of the current Executive Council. Our term is actually coming to an end this month, next month. So the new office bearers have been elected. Gopi will be the president, so you can interact with them. Secretary will be Dalton. He's not here, I think, but Dalton is the secretary, so you will see a lot more of him from next month onwards. Anbu is a treasurer who will take over from me from August. So you will see more of him. So, and we have Suresh, the other Suresh, who is part of the office. So any administrative help that you want, make sure you reach out to Suresh. Our office is just down the hostel zone, so reach out there and become. So two messages I want to give for who are already existing alumni. All these messages is nothing new. So this request is only to make sure that you get your thinking caps on and try and see what more you can do to actually contribute and work with the Alumni Association. And as far as new students who have become alumni are concerned, I think this is an opportunity for you to start enrolling yourself into the Alumni Association and start contributing in a small way. It will take time for you to be very active because you will have other priorities right now. But start working on it so that we can all work together. So we work closely with the Office of International Affairs. So we basically have the same objective. The Alumni Association gives an outside-in perspective. The International Affairs that give an inside-out perspective. So the two merge together, and we can create a wonderful ecosystem here for the overall benefit of the institute, the students, and society. So with that request, I thank Professor Nagarajan for giving me an opportunity, and for all the new alumni who will become alumni yesterday, all the best for a wonderful career. and we look forward to seeing you in the alumni office. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The 87 batch held a sensational silver reunion last December and made big plans to give back big way to the alma mater. Here to tell us all about it is MTR and his 87 cohorts. So let's dive right into that.
Hi folks, my name is MTR and this is Sindhu. Two of us are from the 87 batch. We had a wonderful time last December here on campus. We did not think it would actually come out as well as it did. I think part of the reason is, when you have been away for so long and then you come back, nostalgia just sort of takes over. The connection that I guess one makes with a group of people whom you share kind of living quarters, bathrooms, mess halls with over a period of 4 years, it's a very, very strong bond. And that bond, even after a really long time, somehow always stays. And so as we initially started sort of getting down this path of planning for our reunion, we actually started the whole initiative in about, and I think September of 2011 is when we actually got things going. And the biggest task that we had in front of us was really trying to locate every single person that was, that was from the batch. We were about, I think, 310 or so, as per the records that we had from the institute. And we tried our best to try and locate all these people. So I think we managed to locate some connection with at least about 280. So about 30 of those who we just did not know where they were. And we had absolutely no knowledge of where they were. We had no phone number, no email address, couldn't find them on Google. We couldn't find them on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever. So we somehow managed to locate about 280. And then I think in December of 2012, December of 2011 is sort of when we formed a small team. And Sindhu, who is based in Chennai, is kind of the backbone of the organization in terms of trying to get all the stuff together. And I was kind of the guy on the in cyberspace trying to reach out to all these people. So we set up a special LinkedIn group because we thought that was probably the social network of our generation. We couldn't find people on Orkut or Facebook, so LinkedIn was a much better choice. So that's where kind of we did a lot of, we tried to find people. And email, of course, was there. So whatever email addresses we had, so we reached out. And in 2012 March is when we actually sent out the registrations forms. And it was very interesting. Initially things were a little bit slow, but we started putting up on a little website who all had said they were coming. And like I said, actually there are sort of a couple of different types of bonds. One is sort of the larger bond across the entire batch, but then there's this other bond within the same hostel. So there are people who were in your same wing, or whom you used to fight with for completing the crossword in the morning before the guy woke up. You can fill the crossword puzzle up and made him really angry. I mean, those are the kind of guys you want to reconnect with. Those are the kind of guys you played bridge with or whatever. So that is another kind of bond. The third bond is within the department. So what we started doing was we started putting up information saying A, B, C, and D has said they are going to come, and they're going to come with their family members. And then are you? And then that kind of snowballed. And I think out of the 280 or so, we've actually got 175 people to actually sign up and say, hey man, I really wish I could come. I'm coming, or no, I'm sorry, I can't make it. But actually, we had positive acknowledgements that people knew that the reunion was happening from 175. And we had about 105 people actually land up on campus, and several of them actually last minute registrations. So last minute just landed up here on campus. You know, some guys actually even from overseas. They just, as they saw who else was there, and said this is an opportunity of a lifetime, sort of come back and meet all these guys. So they just showed up. So we had about 105 people on campus, and several people came with family members. I think about 65 or so with family. Sundhu can tell you about all the stuff that we did about trying to herd all these cats in.
It was quite an interesting experience. One thing we learned was IITians they do not like to plan. So even on the last day, we really didn't know how many people would turn up, how many people would want dinner, how many people would want transportation. So we had to be nimble, do all last minute logistics, but the experience was worth all the trouble. At the end of those 2 days, 3 days, it made up for all the trouble we had and all the hard work we had to do.
And actually, I think the 25th year is really a really nice time, because I think it's kind of the time when people are sort of reasonably settled in their careers. They probably have children who are kind of college age, so maybe they want to bring their children and say, hey, this is where I went to school. Maybe you want to try and get them through JEE as well. So that's actually another motivation. And I think it's not so close that you say, hey, you know what, I just got out of there and I'm glad I'm out. And it's so it's I think sufficiently long, but it's not so long that you've kind of lost all memory or lost those connections. Anyway, so we had like a really wonderful time. We also planned asked people who are coming in from overseas to bring in a lot of booze. But we didn't really need it. People were like so high just being back on campus and reconnecting with all of their old friends. We actually still have a lot of booze. If the 88 batch wants some, we can actually give it to you. We still have it held somewhere because it's difficult to get good quality booze here with all of the prohibitions and duties and stuff like that. Anyway, okay, so post reunion is when we started down the path of fundraising. So we had a little bit of a heated discussion here in this very room about which cause to fund, and I think the habits don't, nothing changes. So we had maybe about 105 people, and we had probably about 200 different opinions on what exactly was the right thing to do. But anyway, we took a vote, and then we said, you know what, we trust the people on the ground to know what is the right problem to solve. So we decided to go with the Alumni Endowment. So whatever we collect, we decided to go to the Alumni Endowment, and we would trust the campus management to do the right thing for whatever cause it was. I mean, we also had a bunch of questions like, oh, the government gives a lot of money to IIT, what's the point, why should we do all this? Should we not go fund something, some sort of disaster relief somewhere or whatever? But I said, no, if you want to fund disaster relief, that's very good, go ahead, that's your business, but this is a different issue. And yes, there's a lot of needs that the institute has that is kind of, yes, the government does help, but there are a lot of things that really need to be done here and now, and having that flexibility is very important for life on campus. So anyway, so long story short, we set basically two targets. We said the most important target that we had in mind, Sundhu and I and a couple of others in the batch, was the number of people who are going to come. Right? For us, that was more important than the total money that we actually raised for campus. I mean, from the campus perspective, the total money is kind of what matters, but for us, it was like, that's completely secondary, right? Even if we don't make a lot of money, if we can get a significant fraction of the batch to contribute, that would be a huge value. So we set ourselves a target of 212 people to give back out of the 282. So 75% of the batch was a target that we were shooting towards. We actually got 144 people to pledge and 131 people to actually give back. So that sort of brings us at about 46% of the graduating batch has given something. Right? And the whole point of this is, like Professor Nagarajan was saying, it's the first time that's hard. So once you actually got them to make that step, hopefully, the institute has their contact, and then they can come back and give again. So that was a sort of our important goal. We also had this other anecdotal piece of evidence, anecdotal piece of information saying, you know what, if you start the pledge drive immediately after the reunion, everybody says, yeah, we'll give, but finally the collections will end up at about 70% of the pledges. So we are happy to report that 91% of the people who pledged have actually made good the amount they pledged, and some actually have gone beyond the amount that they pledged. And in some cases, we actually also benefited from the falling rupee. People who are pledged in dollars now effectively have given a little bit more. so we ended up with a total amount that we have raised this year, or whatever, this pledge drive, of little over 2 crores. Just a sliver over 2 crores is sort of we have raised from 131 people. The median contribution, by the way, was about 50,000. So if you kind of look at this, 50,000 times 130 is whatever, around say 65 lakhs, but the total amount is about 2 crores, and that sort of gives you the idea of the non-linearity of the distribution. Right? It's always kind of, you have a few big donors, and then you have like a long tail. So if a batch says, oh, we did so much in terms of top line, it only means that they had a few big hitters in the batch. It's not that the batch did anything. Right? So the important thing is to try and see, what is the median amount and how many people have given. Also, we were trying to do some creative accounting to try and push the number up, so people had a little bit better feeling. We set our target for 5 crores, and let's see how close we got to it. So we had a little bit of creative math. So we allowed people to include whatever money they had given in the past. We allowed people to add in their company matches. We also allowed people to pledge for future years. And sort of we took all of that into account, and by that sort of fuzzy math, we are at about 3.2 crores from the 87 batch. So that's sort of where we ended up. It was an interesting effort in actually driving the fundraising. And again, we had to be a little bit sensitive because people wanted to keep some information anonymous. They said, we don't want anybody to know that we've actually given. Some people said, we want to give, but we don't want anybody to know how much we gave. So there are certain privacy constraints that we met. But within that set of constraints, we actually tried to tell everybody who else is here. And so that also kind of pushed the whole, sort of brought everybody back into the fold. So we are very happy. I think we had a wonderful time. And thanks to all of the help we received from the Office of Alumni Affairs in organizing the event. So maybe we'll be back here in 5 years, depending on how much enthusiasm there is. But I think it was really an amazing experience, and I think every single person who came sort of still carries that, and all those who didn't come are really feeling left out. So 88 batch. So if you need some boost, we have some.
The 88 batch has a tough act to follow as they gear up for their own silver reunion. Typically though, they have it all under control, so here's Mr. Krishnan with the details.
Thanks, MTR, for the offer. We'll take you up on it. And like Sundu said, IITians like to plan late, so we are somewhat late. We plan to have our reunion from December 26th of this year to 29th, and we hope to open the registration by 1st of August. The tentative schedule for this is we'll arrive on 26th afternoon or evening at Iitm. There are no formal programs that day. It's a chance for you to mingle with your friends. On 27th morning, reunion day, there will be a program with the director, deans, and faculty. During this time, families will have some events for them as well, and this will be followed by lunch. The afternoon is free for us to play games, etc. The entertainment has not been scheduled yet. 28th morning after breakfast, we will leave for a beach resort on East Coast Road, and we will conclude the reunion on 29th morning. We are reaching out to our batchmates through Yahoo groups, personal contacts, and like MTR said, we'll probably add LinkedIn as well. To the batchmates who are watching this through webcast, we would like as many of you to attend as possible. Come back, meet old friends, relive old memories, create new ones. We hope to see you all in December, and please spread the word to your friends and encourage them to attend. If you're not on the mailing list, you can send a mail to iitm88reunion@gmail.com. And we're extremely thankful to the Iitm Alumni Office and Professor Nagarajan and his office for helping us to organize this reunion. And lastly, congratulations to all the new graduates and their parents. Thank you.